Great to see you today.
It's absolutely a pleasure to be here, Shannon.
All right, so there were a lot of folks out there who said if you line up with the Tea Party, you can't line up with this plan by Speaker Boehner, but you voted for it. Are you experiencing any backlash?
No, I'm not experiencing any backlash. I know some people have called me a defector, and that's their opinion. They can have that. But I think the most important thing is you have to continue to look at viable solutions out there. And with the Boehner plan, it was not the perfect plan. The Speaker said that. But it did fit within the framework that I like to see. It cut spending, starting off $22 billion, not as much as I wanted, such as with cut cap and balance, which was $111 billion. It did put the caps on the federal government spending, just the same as cut cap and balance. And we did come forth and say we wanted to have a balanced budget amendment going to the states. So I think that our compromise, as a lot of people talk about up here, by saying I'm willing to make sure that there is no threat to default of our obligations, and also there's no increase of interest rates for our country.
So how do you respond to those, either here on Capitol Hill, your colleagues in Congress, or others outside of Washington who say, if you're with the Tea Party, you cannot make that kind of compromise?
Well, I think it's all about your principles. And I put it in terms of being in combat. In combat, if you sit around and wait for a 100% plan, you're never going to get there. But if you can take a 70 to 75% plan, you can execute it to 100% perfection, then you're going to find yourself being very successful on the battlefield. And I think that's the exact same thing here. And a lot of people have to understand that we control 1/2 or 1/3 of the government. And the fact that we're not seeing any tax hikes, the fact that the president is not getting his blank check as far as raising the debt limit, I think those are incredible things that we've done. And also, it's the first time that we've talked about, and in the history of our country, we've had an increase of the debt ceiling, but we'd also have had equal or higher spending cuts as well.
How do you respond to those? And we've had a couple of Democratic lawmakers, your colleagues across the aisle, on earlier today, who say that those issues should not be tied to the debt ceiling. They weren't in the past, and it's political to do it now.
It's not political. The thing that I would say to my colleagues is that we've got a debt to GDP ratio that's 70%. We're pretty close to flatlining. You've got federal government spending that's 24.4% of our GDP. The federal government is almost spending a quarter of our GDP. Now, when you look at those numbers, 1.3% growth, and the quarter before that, 0.5%, the federal government is 25% of that. That's unacceptable. And so we have to start turning this ship around.
So we're hearing about a deal, probably not going to be any major announcements today, we're now hearing, but there has been a lot of optimism out there this morning about something coming together. Is there going to be a way to bring in everyone from the Tea Party to those on the left on some kind of agreement? I mean, is this going to be one of those, you're counting the votes down to the wire, to try to find something that would get enough people together on Capitol Hill to get something to the president's desk?
Well, I'm sure it will be, but I think that what we have done as the House GOP, we've sent proposals over there. We've sent the cut cap and balance. We sent the Boehner plan. The Senate has tabled it. It's the same Senate that has gone now 821 days without passing a budget, the same Senate that has sat on 7 appropriations bills that we sent over there. We've got to have a framework that we must operate under. Is government spending that is driving up the debt issue in our country, and we have to first tackle that. We have to cap federal government spending. We have to set the conditions so that we have the confidence and the certainty that's provided to our private sector so we can have long-term sustainable economic and job growth. And that's the most important thing that I'm looking for.
All right, Congressman Allen West, always great to see you.
Pleasure.
Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Well, the Senate